Hey, what's up, guys? It's your favorite nurse leader, Bilquis, and today I am going to talk more about, I'm going to do a follow-up. Okay, so last week I did a video on falsifying documentations. I wanted to talk about protecting your license, and these are some of the things that you just might not think about, but falsifying documentation falls along the lines of when you can be called to be investigated regarding your nursing license, depending on what had occurred, if there was a form of negative outcome that presented with that patient with you falsifying your documentation. All right, so that's what I want to talk to you about today. Just a couple things, all right, because some of the things, especially if you're coming into the to practice and you are a new nurse, and this is why mentorship is very important, and connecting with the right people is even more important. All right, so I talked last week about falsifying documentation. All right, when you falsify documentation, you are at risk for being, especially if there's a negative outcome, to being called and investigated in regards to your licensure as a nurse. All right. If you have anything to do with any type of patient abuse or neglect. Now, I have seen many CNAs across my time lose their registry because they have had abuse or neglect brought upon them on their license. And as a former risk manager and as a DON, when we do our abuse investigations, one of the things we have to rule out when we're doing our reportable events is it substantiated or not? Okay, if it's not substantiated, then you are seen, you okay. But when it comes back substantiated, all that stuff has to then be reported at a higher level. Okay, and this is how other parties then get involved. All right, so just be mindful of that when you are taking care of your patients, and this is very important that you're even being aware of how you the tone of your patient, how you talk to your patient in the tone of your voice. As a prior risk manager, when I used to do my abuse allegations, there were certain things that I would just look for on the patients. Like, say if a patient said that this the nurse or CNA had hit me, I would be looking at, fingertips. How was their hands positioned on the patient and everything like that. So again, some of the things that you want to start thinking about, which is why I always say it's important as a nurse leader, you do your, you always talk about abuse, any opportunity that you have, especially during your monthly staff meetings. Practicing beyond your scope of practice. And this is very, very important. It's important that, one, you know the Nurse Practice Act and you know the laws of your state, okay, to ensure that you are always functioning. I don't care who tells you to do what. If you don't know if it's outside of your scope of practice, and I will tell you not to do it. If you have to think to yourself, damn, am I able to do this? Especially if you're an LPN, all right? If you have to ask yourself and you get that gut feeling like, ooh, you know what, I really don't think I'm able to do this, don't do it. Because if you have that gut feeling, that means, one, you don't have enough knowledge in what it is that they're asking you to practice. And then two, you just are unsure. So if you're unsure about anything in regards to delivering some type of service, then don't do it, all right? Drug diversions, all right, drug diversions. I've had to do countless drug diversions in facilities. Why? Because a narcotic might go missing. I've had a patient literally tell me that the nurse took their Percocet and gave them a Tylenol right in front of them. Drug diversions are a big deal, all right? Not only drug diversions, but if you have nurses who have some type of substance abuse. Now, and that's not to necessarily say you're going to lose your license because you have a substance abuse, no, right? But it's to say, let's get you put in some type of program so that you can then get some type of help for this, okay? HIPAA violations, and I see this all the time across everywhere, okay? You might be on your phone and you're in a patient room, right? I've had people call me to say, hey, so-and-so is in the bathroom with a patient, and they're talking about the patient to the person on the phone. Okay, major issue. Okay, so that's immediate termination for that person. And then when you look around and you see people posting social media about things that they found on a patient or reviewing someone's records that had nothing to do with the patient that they're actually caring for. All right. Criminal activity. Guys, let me tell you, I don't give a crap. I don't care what you got going on, who it has to do with it. Do not get into any type of criminal activity. Now, let me take that back, because if someone comes for my children or something like that, or my parents, then yeah, it's going to be an issue. But do not be, okay, I know you might want to go to the club and you're chilling and yeah, and the altercation break out. You do not want to be involved in that, all right? Because my biggest fear is always doing something and someone pressing charges. Okay, so we do not want to get involved with any type of criminal activity. And you want to be mindful of your DUIs, all right? Yes, I understand you want to go to the club, but you do not want to get pulled over and get any type of DUI. Okay, because again, it has to be reported to the Board of Nursing. You have to report it to the Board of Nursing. And then again, you're going to have to go to, they do make you go to some type of program. And again, depending on your state, all right? I've only dealt with it because I know I've had to deal with it with some of my nurses. Unprofessional conduct, all right? I've seen it happen many a times. You got staff, they're fighting at the facilities, they're fighting at the hospitals. It's unprofessional, okay? Failure to maintain competency, all right? So that's meaning like you have your license and it's time for your renewal and you don't do the education required to do your CEUs. Fraud of any kind. Failure to report abuse or neglect. And let me tell you, a couple years ago, I had a lot going on, okay? I mean, a lot going on. I was going through my divorce. I was taking care of my mother, and someone called me about something that happened with one of my residents, and it didn't even register to me. And this is why I always say, when you're at home, be at home, and when you're at work, be at work. It didn't even register to me, okay, till like the next day. And I was like, oh, you know what? I effed up, okay? I effed up. Now, it wasn't nothing came about it or whatever, but it's just sometimes you can get so caught up in your life, in your world, where things just wasn't, something might just not register. And it happens. But you just want to be mindful, especially if you're in a leadership position. Do those investigations, know when you have to report abuse. And I'd rather you over-report than under-report. Okay, because if it's not a reportable, if you're a DON and it's not a reportable, okay, it's not reportable. They're just going to shoot it back to you. Okay, but if it was something, if you was to have a survey or a complaint and they come in your facility and they say this should have been reported, shit, we got a problem, okay? So I'd rather you over-report than under-report. Any type of boundary violation, non-compliance with the BON. Like I said, if you were to get put on any type of program, because you might have, say for example, some type of substance abuse issue, then it'll be a problem. All right, so these are just some of the things I want you to start thinking about when you are getting started in your career, when you're going on about your day. Just be mindful of protecting your license, okay? And whatever is on here, just do the opposite, okay? These are the things not to do, okay? So what you want to do moving forward, you want to make sure you only document accurate information. You want to make sure that you're always reporting abuse or neglect, that you are not practicing beyond your scope of practice, all right? If you want this in writing, be sure you check out my, sign up for my email list and sign up for my blog list, okay? Because I put these out on all my blogs. So if you want to get the written copy of it, sign up for my blog. I hope this video helps. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and follow for more tips. And please share this video for any new nurses, any nurses that are just unsure on the things that they can do as a nurse. Let's be proactive and do what we need to do to protect our license. All right, have a great day.